Okay, now I'd like to walk through a quick demonstration of the actual application. I have it here running from the cloud. You can see the URL at the top is badbank.tjmco.io. That is my own domain that is pointing to that virtual machine, that droplet in DigitalOcean, which is just a naked Ubuntu server now with an Nginx uh, service on it that I installed and configured to route that subdomain to this React application inside of the Docker containers. So you can see, first of all, that everything at the top is disabled because I'm not logged in. Um, the first thing I can do is log in to one of my existing accounts. One thing I wanted to show real quick, if anybody has not seen this, is in Docker Desktop, they have a new extension called Volumes Backup and Share, and you can go to a database that you're developing or filling on your development machine. And there is a simple transfer here where you can say, root at your IP, and it will go out, reach out with your SSH credentials. If you put in root instead of route or whatever that was, it will reach out there to the server. And I missed a 7 in my IP. One more time. It will reach out there and go get the names of all your volumes, and it will let you transfer a volume, in this case a database, on top of a volume out on your development machine, or sorry, production machine. So I can transfer a database I develop here out into the cloud so I don't have to start from scratch when I deploy. Very nice feature. I don't remember how I found that, but I was sure glad I found it when I did. So let me go log in because I transferred my development database up into that cloud server. So I have accounts there I can log into. So let me just log into my own account. You can see I'm logged in. It says Welcome Timothy at the top. And because my account was created as a banker, I forgot to mention that I created roles as another new feature in the application. I can go to all data and I can see everyone's account and all their transactions. So you can see I did a lot of accounts and in testing. I can also look at my personal transactions. I've been deleting and recreating this account many times. I can see the send money function, the balance function that I added, the withdraw, the deposit, and the log in and out. So let me log out and show you my create account. So here's create account. Actually, let me, because it's a lot easier this way, let me do this. I'll put my credentials in, and then I'm going to use my delete account feature to get rid of my account because then I can reuse my passwords and it's easier. I don't have to think up a new one. But you can see here, there's my alert card telling me that I successfully deleted that account. So now I can clear the form and I can start a new account. I'm just going to put my credentials right back in. One thing I'll show is if I don't put in you can see my alerts are working at the bottom of the card. That I need to put in a password of a proper length, that I need to have a password. All of that is dynamically happening as the user types. I can put my role in, and it tells me at the bottom, it tells me here it's got to be one of 3 different types, and it tells me a role is required, so you got to put it in. It defaults to customer, so I put in banker, and then let me put in 7777 as my initial deposit and recreate my account. There again is my alert card telling me it worked and the normal success in the card. And now I can look at my balance. There's the 7777 I deposited. And I have 1 transaction in this brand new account. But I'm still a banker, so I can look at all of these other transactions. If I log out of my account and I log back in as a normal user like Peter Parker, oops, that was mine, not his, clear. Peter and Peter's password. Oh, I don't have it in here. His password is I am Spider-Man. Made it easy. These are all easy to remember. Log in and save it for later. So Peter's logged in now. You see Peter is not a banker, so he can't get to all data, but he can see his transactions. He can send money. Let's send money to me. Let me send me $100. I'll send it to my bad bank. And you see when it's done, it shows Peter's new balance. And because we're a bad bank, I'm showing Peter how much money's in his friend's account, my account. So you can see that right there. And then you can see under the transactions, you can see a new withdrawal just happened from Peter's account. That was the money being sent to me. And his balance matches what we just saw. I can do withdrawals. Let me take out 321.11. So we should go to 3,000 even. There's 3,000 even. In the transactions, I see the withdrawal. I can do deposits. They have to be a minimum of $10, so that alert disappears as soon as I go over 10. And I can log out. Let me log out and log back into my account and look at the money that Peter just sent me. Transaction. So I got a deposit from somewhere, which is $100. That's the $100 Peter just sent me. And I can see if I look at my account, it'll be at the bottom here. There's my account. And Peter, I think Peter's one of the larger accounts I played with. Where's Peter at? Peter made a deposit. So, oh, you know what? Peter's in here multiple times. I think I saw Peter in here. Yeah, here's Peter down here. So when I first was creating this database, because it's off my development machine, I didn't have the checks in to make sure I wasn't creating an account again. And so I added in the ability to delete accounts right here. So if I go and take Peter and put in Peter's passwords, if I say delete, it will delete all copies of Peter's account and help me as a database cleanup thing. So it will take any Peter account, any account that's using Peter's email. So it successfully did that. Now if I log back in as a banker myself and then go look at all data, Peter should be all the copies of Peter. Oh, there's one left. Oh, because it used a different email, Peter P. And the other ones are all gone. Yes, they're all gone. So that was another new feature I added, was the ability to log out. So I think I covered everything. Log in and out, deposits, withdrawals, balance, sending money back and forth, looking at transactions, looking at all data. That's it. That's my bad bank. And it's a bad bank. Let me go back to my presentation now. And let's look for just a second at the JS doc. Again, this is all generated right out of the source code. If you follow this standard JS doc tagging idea, there are similar things like this for C# that I utilize when I'm doing production work for those types of applications. It's so nice because when you're done, you can look at your application as a document, as a programming document for other people, and it's all navigable. And if I think I have it still open here somewhere, let me take a look. I do. So here is that documentation that was generated directly out of the source code. You can see all the API functions. It puts all the params in tables, so it's easy to read. I can look at my DAL functions. Same thing. Everything's nice and easy to look at. My client connections, you can see I defined a VT, a video terminal, off of DEX VT52 100 220 standard with all of the functions that it can do for colorization. Man, that took me back in time. That took me back to the 1980s working on PDP-11s. And then you can see all the server methods and the definition of the transaction, the record and transaction records for the database. Their definitions show up nice as tables. Just really good stuff if you follow this and you're consistent. Hail Caesar, you get benefits back every time. So that brings me to the end of the first part. The only thing left now is the reflection on, the reflection part is meant to reflect on what I would have done different in the app. But let me say I want to reflect on not just that, but this MITxPRO course in general and how it applies to myself and my company. Microcode was founded in 1987, so last year I really realized I needed to transform my business, and I happened upon the digital transformation class for MIT through LinkedIn. I immediately took that class. It was a short one, but immediately I knew after taking that class, I needed to move on and take the full stack web development course, because what I wanted to do at that time is bring a product back from our 1980s and 90s called Ladders and bring it back to the web as a service. Ladders as a service, software as a service. And we needed a new website, something that, because it's customer facing, it was so old. I made it in 1997 when the web first came out. I made a website right away. And that website has lived for 20 years and needed to be redone in a bad way. And I knew we needed some internal talent, so I've started trying to expand the business. But the one of the things in the course we had to do was build this portfolio website. And early on in doing that, I realized how powerful all of this stuff had become to build websites. And I turned right around and I built a brand new website for microcode from what I learned in real time from this MIT course. And it allowed me to build up what all my customers tell me is a spectacular website. They love it. They can find what they want. I can deliver software through this, download demos. I'm working on the user accounts. My entire company team is up here. It really, this course, this alone was worth the course. But that's not all I got out of this. I got out of this the ability to develop true web applications. Like I'm going to go add a merchandise store to that website and my software as a service, but I learned how to build, truly, I learned how to build three-tier Dockerized virtual machine applications in state-of-the-art stuff that I can bring up to the web. And I've never had an educational experience this good that was so applicable to what I needed to do. I've said a few times, microcode's mantra is Hail Caesar, code consistently and explicitly, simply, and for readability. That is how we do business. And we've done it over the 35 years by having our own style guides, code templates, standardized shared processes, and team participation. All of these concepts were covered in the MIT xPRO MERN course, and they served to reinforce what we were already doing and let me know that we had made correct decisions. We were doing things the right way. So I took what I had done in the past, what I learned in the course, and I went and made style guides for microcode for JavaScript, cascading style sheets, HTML, and and added that to the C# ones that we already had. You guys covered this in week one, right when it needed to be covered. You went into the Airbnb style guides as a starting point. I took that and ran with it and put my style guides up in my GitHub account as well. I also then turned around and developed class templates from what I learned in the course for JavaScript, JavaScript modules, cascading style sheets, everything, just like we had done for C# in the past. You guys covered all of this in week 20, and in how to use Create React App to do standardized app construction and never start from scratch. That's the whole thing about Node.js is everyone's helping everyone now, everyone's sharing what they're building, and you don't have to start from scratch. You can build an application in hours if you know where to go, and now I do. You can build an application in hours where you get right to your application specific task. The other thing you guys focused a lot on and made me feel good about what we had done in the past is processes. The documentation process. Here we're using JS doc. In the past we'd use something else in Visual Studio, but the exact same idea. How to do DevOps with state-of-the-art tools. How to do release control with Git and GitHub. And we're using a process called Gitflow that matches a process we did 20 years ago. And how to do CI/CD, continuous development, continuous deployment, continuous integration. You guys covered all this again in week 20, and I went and took that, ran with it, and put up into GitHub our own software support processes that match what I'd learned in the class and what we'd done in the past. And then finally, you talked a lot about participation, and you reinforced that every week with us having talks between each other in discussion groups and with our counselors and with our mentors. And I just want to say at the end here, thank you. This has made us ready to go do state-of-the-art web development, and I've never gotten back such a good value for my educational money. Thank you.